It's not the fact that you're mentally weak. I know people feel like you're mentally weak. It's not that you're not mentally weak. The real issue is you haven't found out where your strength is yet, or you haven't realized where your strength is yet. With how you get better in trials, okay? The problem with plyometrics, when it comes to plyometrics, you see a lot of people out here doing a lot of things, a lot of trainers throwing guys that they're doing a lot of stuff. And I just want to help you guys out from mistakes that I made when I was growing up and seeing a lot of people do. Yo, what's going on, man? This is the BeBall Jones podcast. I am simply a basketball trainer with a basketball podcast. My goal is to present the game to you from a different angle, educate you with a unique perspective, and also change your mindset along the way. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome into another episode. And today, it's another big three. I'm breaking down three main things for you guys. And I'm kicking it off first with how you get better in trials, okay? Basketball season is upon us. It's tryouts time. So I'm giving you guys two sides to think about when it comes to training for tryouts, okay? So first side is going to be on the individual side. You got to be selfish right here. Then on the other half of it, you got to think about on the team what the coaches want. Okay, so first off, when it comes to you and your side, the most important thing is to get your own individual skills, your own talent. Right? So you know what your skills are, you know what your superpowers are. You need to really max out on those and make sure that you're preparing and training those right and getting those at the max state. Next, you want to make sure that you're in shape. You can't be out there having all these skills, but you're not in shape. You got to be out there just like looking like a bum because you're holding on, clutching your chest the whole time, thinking it's the big one like Red Fox. Can't be doing that at trials. So you look real bad. You look terrible. Next is to make sure that you just play hard and play aggressive. You just got to play your butt off. You can't be out there looking like a bum. You're not trying to be too cool for school. Next, you got to make sure that you bounce back when you do make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Make sure that you bounce back from them. And then last, just make sure you make the easy stuff. Don't make it too complicated. Make the easy stuff. Okay. Very simple. So I'm breaking it down for you now. As far as your skills and talents, you really want to maximize on those and make sure that you look amazing. You look incredible when it comes to what you're skilled at and what you're talented at. So if you're a PG and you're a great facilitator, you're a great, a great passer, you want to make sure that you shine and thrive in those. You want to make sure that you guys really look good at whatever you power. If you're big and you're a great defensive guy, you're a rebounder, you're a Clint Capella type that can just clean up the glass real effortlessly and make sure that nobody scores. And when every time somebody comes into the paint, it's an issue or they're going to second guess it because you're in there. You're going to make sure that you show that and display that. You want to show what it is that the coach can counter you for, and know that if I put this guy on my team, I can get this person, get this out of them. I don't have to question what this thing is out of them. Even if that's just playing hard, you want to make sure the coach knows they're going to get that out of you. You want to make sure that they're guaranteed that when I put this player in the game, when I put her in the game, she's going to play hard for me every single time. She's going to make sure that when the ball touches her hand, she's going to let it fly. That's my shooter right there. She got thing on the clip like it's effortless. She's going to make sure that shots get up. I don't have to worry about telling her to shoot. I don't have to worry about asking her to shoot the ball. She's going to shoot the ball because that's what she is. She's a shooter. And what do shooters do? Shooters shoot. So, therefore, make sure the coaches know that when I get this player and I put them in the game, I'm getting this out of them. All right. So make sure you guys play to your strengths, play to your superpowers. Make sure you know and the coaches know what you're great at. Okay. But with that skill and talent, you got to make sure your lungs are in shape and your legs are in shape. You got to make sure you're running and making sure that you're able to display these skills and talents, because a lot of times we'll get to this position, get to this place where the skills are on point, but you haven't been in game situations enough to actually be able to show it now. So you might be doing all this 1-on-0 stuff, turning against cones, and you're able to shoot and do all this stuff. But in your lungs, you hold to your chest every time because you haven't been up and down on the court. You haven't been up and down on the street running suicides or running hills or whatever you feel like is going to get you in shape to be able to bounce back and to recover fast enough. If you guys want to understand what basketball shape is and what conditioning is, go back to a previous episode I did explaining what basketball strong is and what basketball shape is. Just want to throw this out there for you guys. But make sure that you guys are in shape. How you can get in shape is easily just playing more basketball. Like do 1-on-1, start off with 2-on-2s and 3-on-3s. That's a good lower level way of getting your game into shape and getting your body into shape to playing there. Depending on how much time you have, you want to, slowly ramp this up. Then you want to get to where you're doing more 5-on-5 and 4-on-4 full court stuff. Anything above 3-on-3 should really try to be full court if the court's available to you. So make sure that you're playing 5-on-5 and getting your lungs used to the up and downs and used to the acceleration, deceleration. It's different playing half court and full court. So make sure that you guys get out there playing full court and not just, keeping it easy and compact with the half court stuff. Make sure that you guys are doing a little bit extra and running heels and running suicides, doing more basketball similar conditioning. It's not going to be a slow jog all the time. It's not going to be a straight sprint. It's going to be a mix of both. So you want to make some jogs, make sure you get some sprints in, make sure you get some walks in too. Walks is a great way to stay in health overall, but also adds to your physical health and your basketball health is just being able to be durable with the lower level things, including with your jogging too. So make sure that you're in shape because you don't want to be the question mark. Like if you already got the team made and you got it in the bag, you can kind of mess around with being in shape if you want to. I wouldn't advise that, but you know how that kind of goes. But if you're a guy that's not on the roster and you're trying to fight for a spot, try to come in with the least amount of problems as possible. You want to come in and give yourself a chance to really show that I'm here and I can really perform and do what I need to do. Next is you need to make sure that you're playing hard. One of the worst things that a coach has to count on you for is to make sure that you're playing hard. If you're not playing hard, sometimes it feels like you're not. Why are you even out here sometimes? Like, why are you even on the court if you're not going to play hard? When people try to show up and be too cool to go out and hoop and play hard, like you look goofy when you don't play hard. It's like, why are you even here then? Like, you too cool to go hard. And now I get it if you're just getting easy buckets or going stupid, but if you're not and you're messing up, then the excuse is, I just wasn't even trying, man. I wasn't even playing hard for real, man. And you look goofy doing it. It's like, then play hard then. Like, the two don't add up. So make sure that you guys are here playing hard and playing aggressive because I don't want to sit here and question if this player has heart, if they really care, if they're really trying to go out here and really play as a team because you're too cool to come out here and be aggressive and play intentional and play with heart. That's one of the worst things the coach has to worry about is if my player's going to show up today and play hard. No coach wants to have that. So let's make sure that you guys are playing hard and playing together as a team. Okay. Make sure that you are, when you make a mistake, you're going to make a mistake. Make sure that mentally you're not beating yourself down and you're just dragging the whole team down and dragging everybody else down because you're just being extra negative or extra calling everybody else out about an issue. Be a leader as far as, oh, it's going to be all right, it's going to be okay. Be a leader as far as making sure that when you make a mistake or a teammate make a mistake or whoever you're playing against or around makes a mistake, you try to help them out a little bit and let them know it's all right. Give them a pat on the back or a high five or whatever. Cheer them up, whatever. You don't have to do anything extra aggressive. Just make sure that you're showing that it's not the end of the world. Like you're a good teammate. Just be positive, be able to bounce back mentally and emotionally from the mistakes that's going to happen because they're going to happen. And lastly, make it easy. Don't overcomplicate it. Make your layups, hit the open shots, and don't make a turnovers. Like, don't be negative. The worst thing you can be is neutral when it comes to tryouts. Because the coach say, well, he ain't going to mess up. He ain't going to be nothing stupid. Well, I could just add him on team for that, and he can train to get better. I don't want to sit here and question if you're going to be terrible. Like, I don't want to think, oh, I got to question this boy going to make all the turnovers. She going to shoot the crazy shots and play wild. Like, you just can't do that if you're training to get on the team. Like, you minimize mistakes, okay? But that's one half of training for tryouts, okay? The second half is on the team component, right? You have to make sure that you fit into the team and make sure that you fit to what the coaches want. So first you look at the coaching or the team style of play. The coach, when he gets up and down and run, make sure you're able to do that. If the coach wants you to be able to slow down and dump it to the big, make sure you understand you're able to do that. If the coach wants to shoot, try to do that. If he wants to drive and kick, understand that and train for that. But next is also kind of like a really more of a little bit higher IQ thing to try to think about and laser in on is what is the team missing? If this team had this piece of this thing, that would make them a lot better. And try to feel that need when you're thinking about going through your training and trials. Don't try to go too far away from who you are, because remember, you have a superpower. You have this thing that you know you can do and that you know you're great at. But you don't want to go too far away from that to make sure that you're trying to fit into the mold for the team. Because maybe if you play at your best, you're a great fit for another team. This team might not fit you as far as what helps you thrive and what helps you shine the most. But you have to find that balance between you looking great and making the team look great to make sure that you're actually fit on the team. So you want to balance between when it comes to fitting for the team, the coach's style of play, and what the team needs to actually make sure that you're performing and looking as great as they can. Because if you're a 6'8" big, you know, and the coach and you're not athletic and you're slow and you're not gonna be able to get up and down, the coach probably still take you because a 6'8" big is kind of hard to come around, especially if you have some level of coordination, you got some level of skill to you. I might change and coordinate my offense or whatever around you more, but if you're a 5'5" guard in the middle school or high school, it's kind of tough to want to fit around you and say I'm gonna match my game. Unless you're just out here getting buckets like crazy. Unless you just change the game, it's gonna be hard for me to want to fit you in. You know what I mean? So try to contort your game a little bit to what the coaches want and what coaches need and what the team dynamic is and what they're looking for. So that's kind of how you train yourself for tryouts as you're getting ready, try to make the team. So let me know if you got any questions below about getting ready for trials and getting ready to train, and if you want me to help you out with what you can work on for your tryouts. Yo, just relax a little bit, okay? I know you feeling anxious right now. You're feeling a little depressed or a little overwhelmed because that goal you're going after feels so big and it's so overwhelming and so daunting that it's just like there's no way I can get there. That's probably the reason you haven't started, and that's probably the reason why you're feeling inconsistent about it. But I'm gonna help you out here. Okay, if you haven't started, then just start. I don't care what your excuses are. Figure out a way to just start and just do it. Next is just to keep making progress. Add one more thing every day to get better at it. Get 1% better. But while you're on this journey of self-improvement and getting better, get you a shirt as a reminder that progress is on the go. The problem with plyometrics, when it comes to plyometrics, you see a lot of people out here doing a lot of things, a lot of trainers throwing guys that they're doing a lot of stuff. And I just want to help you guys out from mistakes that I made when I was growing up and seeing a lot of people do. So the problem with plyometrics, first off, people treat it like it's cardio. Second off, they do way too much. It's like, bro, relax. You don't have to like go and do 30 billion exercises in this session. Third, they do way too much like high level stuff, very intensive stuff, and not enough extensive or low level plyometrics. And then fourth, they only go in the vertical straight up and down and not enough horizontal or lateral plyometrics in their training. So when you guys are training for plyometrics, remember plyometrics are a tool to use to basically help your body be able to jump and react and be able to make your muscles react faster. Basically, that's kind of like a very simplified way of I can explain it for right now. So when you're thinking about going through this, you don't want to train like it's cardio. That's not the goal, is to make plyometrics be cardio. If you want to do cardio, do cardio. If you want to do plyometrics and jump and be more explosive, then train for that. You feel me? So like you can't do both of them at the same. You're not doing both of them here. That's not the goal of plyometrics. So you're not here to train your lungs and train the cardiovascular system. That's not the point of plyometrics. You're training your tendons, you're training your muscles, you're training your ligaments. You're not training your lungs and your breathing. It's not the goal of it. You can't be explosive and be intentional about that and try to do that like it's cardio at the same time. It's not the goal of it here. So make sure that you're not overdoing it when it comes to being a cardio exercise or being a conditioning exercises versus a plyometric exercise. Next, you want to make sure that you're not doing too much, because you get into a situation where you're doing jump boxes and you're doing little hurdles and you're doing big hurdles and you're doing ladders and you're doing burpees and you're doing way too much. You're doing Olympic lifts. Like, why are you doing 30 billion exercises for your plyometrics? You shouldn't be combining all these things together. You could do a lot of lower level things, but you don't want to sit here and do all these things in one session. Like, bro, you could have did out of 10 exercises, cut that in three different things, and did that over a span of 3 days, and it come out a lot better. You need time to relax and recover and make sure your body's able to perform at this level you're looking to have for your plyometrics, versus just showing up and saying, hey, I'm gonna go crazy and go all out and do way too much in the gym Because not the goal of it. The goal here is to be effective and efficient, to be explosive and powerful for your jumps and for your dynamic movements. Okay. So don't do too much and don't treat it like cardio. But you also need to make sure, kind of like I was saying earlier, you want to do lower level stuff. You want to do some little pogo hops, some skips, and some jumps, and that are very lower level things to make sure that you're training your overall capacity. Make sure that you're imagine you had a bowl and it can fit inside of your hands. But imagine you had a bowl that's a little bit bigger and you could fit more into it. That's kind of what you're doing with lower level plyometrics and not just uh the overall explosive, the big box jumpers and doing that. You can also train different qualities within it. You can train the slowing down portion or the deceleration portion of the jumps and the runs and cuts versus the acceleration parts or the part where you're jumping off the ground. You can train for the parts in the middle where between the jumping and the land. You can train for so many different parts of it, but you want to make sure that you're not doing crazy and only doing the intensive part where you only focus on the explosion. You only focus on the vertical jump. You only focus on the output of it and not necessarily the input of it. So doing all this stuff together, adding the intensive and the extensive or the lower level plyometrics helps you become a well-rounded and overall athlete because now you're able to show and perform with a bigger capacity to do a lot more of the lower level jumps. You're expanding that cup or expanding that bowl to be able to hold more for your plyometrics. So now you can pour a little bit more water in there when you do the explosive and do the very intense plyometrics, the intense jumps that require more of you. Okay. Lastly, I mentioned this a little bit in the last one. You don't want to do only vertical jumps. You don't want to only explode straight up because basketball's game of exploding out. You explode, jump, and at an angle. You jump and you more explode more laterally doing a defensive slide, or you might do a lot of, like a lateral skip or a float when you got the ball in your hands. You might explode out a little bit to the side. You might do a powerful step back or a side step, but not everything's going to be straight up and down in a vertical realm. You just need to train for that and play for that too. But you don't want to only do that when you're doing your plyometric stuff. Once again, train lower level and train all directions of it too. Because the basketball is a very dynamic game, has a lot of components around it when it comes to your plyometric training. You can't only do vertical jump. You can't just only do straight up and down because that's one part of the training and one part of the game when it comes to basketball. So make sure that you guys are doing different directions and stuff, different planes of movement to make sure that you guys are expressing and showing that you're a full athlete. If this was a dunk contest, then I can understand you guys just only doing that. But you have a lot more to it than just dunking or just going straight up and down. If it was volleyball, maybe doing a little bit more of that, I can understand. Not as much explosion, laterally or going forward and backwards. Not as much as basketball, but basketball has way too much going on to only focus on that. So make sure you guys are doing all of that. So hopefully, guys helps you out. Just to recap, first off, you don't want to treat like cardio. It's not a place to just get your conditioning right and make sure your lungs feeling good. You don't want to do too much. You can really do no more than 6 exercises. Really, like that's probably the max you need to be doing. Depends on your workout, depending on the day. That's really a rough estimate. I can't give you a detailed breakdown of what to do. It depends on so many different levels and so many different things. But just to give you a number, anywhere from 3 to 6 would be really good, depending on time of year, season, what you're working on. So many things to go into that. But 3 to 6 is really about the range you want to do. Next is not doing only intensive and only high level plyometrics, but adding some lower level, low intense plyometrics in there too. And lastly is to make sure you're adding different directions in there and not only the vertical jump. Okay. Hopefully, guys helped you out. Hopefully, you guys understand the problems with plyometrics, the things that I've seen going on, things I did when I was growing up too that messed me up with plyometrics. So, if you guys any more questions, you guys need some more input on this, let me know. Drop it in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you for listening. Yo, like, what are you doing right now? Like, for real? I I know what the problem is. You didn't got too comfortable. Things done got cute because you think what you did last week was cool. You think you can kind of relax, take a vacation this week. You think because how many points you jumped your career high, you dropped a little 30 piece last week. You thinking this week is just it's vacation time. It's time to relax and chill. It's not it, man. This new level means you have new challenges. So the work's not done yet. You're not able to just relax and just take a break, because you have to outwork and outdo what you did yesterday. You have to work harder than you did before, because the new level requires new things from you. So just as a reminder that when you get the next workout in, just keep it as a reminder that progress is the only goal. So the funny thing about mental toughness or mental resilience is it's not the fact that you're mentally weak. I know people feel like you're mentally weak. It's not that you're not mentally weak. The real issue is you haven't found out where your strength is, or you haven't realized where your strength is yet. So you're stronger than you realize. There are areas that you're very strong and you're very dedicated in, but you just haven't. It's not in the areas that you want it to be in. That's your issue. The issue is not that you're mentally weak or you're not able to do things. You just haven't tapped into the area that you want to be in. So when it comes to hooping, you have an issue with things not going your way. You have an issue with training when you don't want to train. So it's not the fact that you're mentally weak, because you're good at doing your math homework. When it comes to your math homework, easy. When it comes to doing your history or your reading session, you be like, bro, get this out of my face. I don't want to deal with this. I don't know why I'm here. Why does even why can't I just do math? I'm not one of them people. I didn't enjoy math. I wasn't good at it, so that's why I didn't like it. I was more of a history and more of a reading guy. Science was all right, depending on what we're talking about. Math, I wouldn't. Y'all can keep math. Don't even don't do that. So I had an issue with uh, uh, attacking doing any math homework. I'll do that for last, or I just ignore it overall. I didn't care anything about it. So I chose to be mentally weaker or not as resilient because I didn't attack it head on. And so when it comes to realizing your mental resilience and how great you are mentally for real, you have to realize the areas that you do have strength in. So first, let me slow down. I went jumped out a little too soon. Let's redefine and rethink about what mental resilience and what toughness really is. In my definition, my opinion, is you being able to lock in and overcome difficult and tough situations. When you have a challenge or something that opposes you, something that you don't like going on, how do you respond? How do you react to it? Are you able to lock in and say, I'm going to overcome this and this can't stop me either? Or you kind of bounce or fold back and kind of take a step back and like, I don't know about this one. You can have it. It's really about your perspective on how you view challenges or how you view obstacles, how you view problems. That's kind of what mental resilience kind of comes down to for me personally. And so now we're figuring out how can we attach this definition to our basketball games to make sure that we're more resilient and tougher mentally to where we can perform better. Okay. So let's look at certain players. Okay. Think about who your favorite player is. Think about who the most mentally tough or the most mentally resilient player is that you can think about. I'm a Kobe guy. Love Kobe. Probably mentally, like him and Jordan are like top two when it comes to like the mental side of the game. Like they're the most marketed. There's a lot of other guys we can look at too, but those two are the most prominent marketed guys. It's like the mental game that they played for themselves and overall with the game. So let's break down what they did to like be at this point. Like what was it with them that tied to mental resilience? Okay. They attacked their problems. They figured out where the problem was and they attacked it rather than run away from it. They would do what it took to overcome the issue and be very resourceful. They would drive themselves, the coaches, the teammates, anybody tied to them in the organization. They're going to drive and demand greatness from them to be able to overcome this challenge that we have. So let's go Jordan. Back in the day with the Pistons, he said, let me figure out how to deal with this issue. They're beating me up physically. Skill wise, they can't touch me. Athleticism wise, they can't touch me. They just beating me up. They're just physically dominant over me. All right, let's adjust this. Me hit the weight room to get a little more muscle on me to where I can resist their attacks and hits. With B, I can give out my own, a little bit of physicality too. Kobe said, okay, when he was a rookie, his showing in the playoffs, he performed terrible. He airballed, his threes and everything. He said, okay, all right, cool. Why did I not forget the fact that I missed threes? Why did I miss threes? Oh, I'm not in shape. I'm not able to. I didn't have my legs on me, so I'm not able to perform that late in the year and late in games. Cool. Rather than cower back and be a punk and just kind of take that hit and So go soak it up and cry. Let me train to get more in shape and be more accustomed to this level of performance so I can perform now. He didn't sit there and say, woe is me and poor little Kobe. Oh, man, I'm not going to be able to perform and da-da-da-da. No, man. He stepped to the plate. He took a step back first and said, what's my issue? Let me figure out what the issue really is. Then he took the challenge and said, okay, let's adjust and really figure out how can we get this, okay? So that's examples of what mental resilience looks like to me, in my opinion, of what it is. So, but how do you get to where you realize where your toughness is and where it resides within you, okay? The goal now is to figure out where you have had success and where you're good at. Okay, let's get some small wins on the table here first. First, let's see what you've overcome already, what you've already been able to do, what you've already grown, what you've already done and been a winner at so far. So once we find that out, take some gasoline, take some oil, take the top off, and let's flame it up. Let's gas it up and go a lot crazier now. Let's make it bigger. Let's make it stronger. Now you found this one area, this lane that you found success in. Let's gas up. Let's make it from a small win to a big win. Let's make sure that we're not just going to have this tiny area of success. It's going to be like a huge room of success. Now it's going to be a whole house of success. Okay, so whatever it is, it can be the fact that you show up consistently to practice, the fact that you show up on time to practice, the fact that you consistently cheer your teammates on. Everybody can't do that consistently. That's a win for you. So just make sure we're the best at that. You're the best at showing up on practice every time. You're going to be everybody to practice every single time. You're going to be the first one in the games every single time. You're the first one to cheer on a teammate when you do something great. You're the first one to pick them up off the floor. You're the first one to handle some water. Like, be excellent at that role. Everybody can't do that consistently. Everybody folds when things get tough and when their ego take a hit and they're not able to perform. It doesn't matter. If you're consistent with training, it don't matter how bad you are. Everybody cannot show up consistently to training and show up to practice consistently, good and bad. There's different mindset you have to do that. So take that small thing that you think is nothing, throw gasoline on that, and now blow it up because that's very important. That's very big. Now let's figure out what that thing is. Now that we figured out what that thing is, we've gassed it up now. Okay. If you can't figure it out, let me slow down. If you can't figure out what that thing is in the game, think about it in life. There's something in life that you do that is very impactful and very mentally challenging that people can't always do. Like, you're special in this realm of doing this thing, which makes you more mentally resilient than you give yourself credit for. Now, the fact that you're able to do this once again, throw gasoline on it and gas it up now, and figure out what area you can translate that to over into your game now. Okay. So if you can't figure it out what that thing is in the game or within the confines of the basketball, take something in your life, because you're doing something in life, right? You're wake up on time every day. You're able to tie your shoes every day. You're on time everywhere you go. Like, there's something that you do that takes a level of mental training and mental stamina and mental resilience to do that everybody's not able to do. So let's take that and apply it to our game now. But next, if you want to figure out how to build it up now, think about what you've overcome. Think about things that you've conquered. There's something that you've overcome. There's something that you've beat in your life that you're a champion and a victor over. Something in your life. There's something. There has to be. So now to figure out what that thing is and celebrate yourself a little bit. Let's be like, okay, I'm a champion when it comes to, you feel me? Like, I've progressed in life to be able to come this far and do this thing. Kudos to me. Shout out to me. I'm great because I've done this thing. I've overcome this thing. Whatever it is. It can be the fact that you've overcome I don't know. I don't have an example off the top of my head, but it's something that you've done that's been amazing that you need to give yourself credit for. Small wins count. Don't discredit or discredit the small wins. Okay. Next thing about what things that you have control over. It's nothing bothers me more at this point in my life than trying to manage or control things I don't have management or control over. I choose to focus on things that I can control. That makes you feel very powerful and very in control, because I can't control you. I can control the way you respond, the way you react, but I can control me. I control from the crown of my head to the sole of my feet on how I respond and how I react. That's it. Nothing else I can control in this world, in this life. I can control me showing up at the time. I can control my attitude. I can control things within this small bubble in this giant world that I can control. So I'm going to focus on that, because now I have a level of mental resilience now to know the fact that I can control and monitor this gives me more powerful, and it makes me more powerful and makes me more uh knowledgeable of what I can control and do now. Okay. So focusing on what I can control now gives me my lane to master and build up now, make more progress with. Okay. Next, to finally, once you figured out what your lane is, what you can control, commit to doing something and be consistent over it. Schedule it, find time to do it. There's no excuses now. You found this lane, the things that you can't control. You want to build it and get better at it. Now I want you to commit to it. Like, I'm gonna wake up every day at this time and do this thing. I'm gonna wake up every day and go run in the morning. I'm gonna wake up every day and do 10 minutes of ball handle. I'm gonna wake up every day and get up 5 shots from every spot on the court, wherever that is for you. I'm gonna wake up every day and meditate. Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. Find something that you want to be more mentally resilient in. Go back to the beginning. Just get some small wins in here. Figure out what you can control, and let's build it up. Let's build it up and build it up some more. Throw some gas on it. Put more steps on top of it. Make sure that you're building this thing up to where now you have more wins, you have more success. Now you're more confident, and now you're able to be more mentally resilient. Okay. So I have these 5 C's I want you to remember when it comes to mental toughness or mental resilience. First off is consistency. Just mention that. Being consistent over something gives you like a mental edge over it. Being able to commit to something, the fact that you're able to have something and commit to it and be consistent to it is game changing. A lot of people can't do that. People have an issue committing to something, relationship, to a dream or a goal, to whatever, and be consistent with it over a long period of time. Those two alone would have you miles ahead of a lot of people. You'll figure stuff a lot more out when you can do those two. You need to figure out what you can't control. You become mentally weaker when you try to focus on things that you can't control. That's a game you can't win. It stretches you out, and that's not mentally resilient now because you're focused on a loss basically. Next, you want to focus on your confidence, because if you can be consistent, you can focus on things you can control, and you're able to commit to it. Next, you can be more confident because you know I can control this. You know I can be consistent with it, and you know that I can commit to this thing. I know I can do this. So that's what gives you more confidence. Over time, you start getting more wins. You build more things up. You build more evidence up. Now you're able to be more confident. And lastly, you want to be real resilient, and as you've done something, conquer something. The fact that you conquer something gives you a level to say, I've overcome these things. I've beat these things. I've done these things. I can do this too. You have a history book of saying, man, I've overcome A, B, C, D. I've overcome X, Y, and Z. I've overcome this, that, and the third. So I can overcome this thing too. That's how you build mental. That's what gives people that mental edge to be more mentally resilient, to overcome more things by knowing that I've conquered these things in the past. So combining these 5 of being consistent, committing, being consistent, focus on what you can control, being consistent, and then conquering, those 5 things really will give you the edge into really building your mental resilience and being more of a mental warrior than you give yourself credit for. So that's it, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys appreciate it. Let me know which one helps you out the most. What level of building your mental resilience are you in right now? Which one do you need to focus on a little bit more to build your mental resilience up to get yourself to the next level? So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good one.